Okay, that's awesome. Well, welcome to final day of PoPRuns 2023, neutral edition. I decided to be so neutral that I didn't even attend the event. I hope that you guys are doing well. I'm Kata. I'm happy to start the day off today with some Prince of Persia Warrior Within. Any percent standards. We used to call it any percent normal. Like, it's a normal category, right? No restrictions. But then there's difficulty called normal. And so everybody was always like, bro, he's not even playing on normal. So I'm an easy gamer. I'm going to play on easy. Yeah, this is a run without any restrictions. Warrior Within is the longest run casually out of the entire Sans trilogy, but it is the shortest one in the speedrun. So it's going to get fast. Yeah, the timer starts when I press easy. So we can start in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, here we go. So there are no cutscenes, CGI cutscenes, you will notice. That's because this game is brilliant and you can literally just rename the folder with the cutscenes and then the cutscenes don't play and the game still works. So there we go. We're gonna start on this boat and I'm gonna have to destroy a couple of these enemies. I can do it a little bit faster by canceling my animation of the attack. And I'm hoping that I get a good secondary here. So far I don't say, oh, there it is, okay. So there's a boss at the end of this boat section and the fastest way to beat the boss is to use a secondary weapon. And there's a couple of them, but one of them doesn't really work because it doesn't deal enough damage. Fortunately, I got this curved blade. Could you, like, not do that, mate? I just need to, like, walk into the next cutscene. Please, let me do that, enemies. Thank you. Yeah, so I got the good secondary, and I'll be able to hopefully kill the boss a little bit faster. Now, through this bottom corridor, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna side roll. Not only is side rolling the fastest way of moving on flat ground, but it doesn't auto-target enemies when that stuff happens. So I can just roll around them like this and get into the next cutscene. Because unlike in the previous game, Sands of Time, you cannot actually like sheath your weapon away and then just not target enemies. You will automatically target them all the time. So side rolling is really, really useful and you're gonna see it a bunch of times throughout the run. For this part, I'm also using controller because controller allows me to immediately input movement right after the cutscene, while mouse and keyboard, I would have to time it. But for the rest of the run, I'm going to be using mouse and keyboard. So I roll around this enemy, I backstep twice, and then we're going to roll into the boss fight. I'm going to start by parrying, and I'm going to do a secondary riposte. So basically, I'm going to do a secondary counter, and then jump over her to attack her, and hopefully trigger the cutscene. So there's the secondary counter, jump, double attack, cutscene triggered. That's because the secondary counter just deals a lot of damage. Do it again. Do it again. If you get too close to the fire, this might not work, but we're good. Mashing. And then last counter to finish the fight. Okay, well, that's Shahdi done. That's the first part of the run. And it was pretty fast. It was good. So now there's a good chance that the game's gonna crash once this cutscene is over. So I'm hoping it doesn't until I get to the beach. And basically the first part of this run... I can hear the... Okay, we're good. The first part of this run is essentially all about trying to get to the sand powers as fast as possible, because that will allow us to completely break the game. That doesn't mean that this part is going to be glitchless, however, because I'm going to try to do a glitch called ledge storage. It's a little bit tricky. It might not work, but I want to really try to show it off. So once Prince realizes there's a stick on the ground, I'm going to roll towards the next platforms. And I'm gonna try to interrupt an animation of climbing over a ledge by getting attacked. And when that happens, the game's gonna remember that ledge still. And the next time I climb up, it's gonna try to teleport me to that ledge. So let's get over here. And let's see. Crow should get up. Come on. There we go. So that was, you could see it perfectly. I was climbing over that ledge, automatic climb. It wasn't like my input. I just walked into it. But now it got interrupted and the game still remembers that, hey, Prince should actually get... He should... Oh my god, that crow was kind of close there. The game's gonna remember, okay, Prince was climbing up to this ledge. We should put it there, right? Put him there, rather. So these climbs that I'm doing here, those are fine. Those are not gonna interrupt the storage because those are like input based. They're not automatic. The only climb that I have to avoid is the one where you just walk into a platform and then Prince is gonna climb up. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. Unfortunately, there are some methods of being able to prevent that from happening in the next section. Now, the reason this ledge teleport is really huge is because there's a big cutscene and there's a fight after that cutscene. And only once you go through that cutscene, does the next door to the next area open. However, with this teleport, I can skip not only the cutscene, but the door as well, potentially. So here, there would be an automatic climb. What I do is I just block jump, and instead I get a ledge grab instead of an automatic climb up. Some more side rolls to get around these two goons. Now, this next rock up here would also automatically be climbed, but I'm going to try to go all the way to the left side of this branch and get up on top. And now there's a cutscene trigger right here, but I can do like a slightly tricky jump. Hopefully I get it. It's a little bit precise. Over the cutscene trigger like this. And now I'm going to get in a very precise spot. And then climb up, do the automatic climb up. And the game is going to try to teleport me towards the last ledge. And easy, I'm in the next corridor. So I'm past the door now. I can show you. I'm going to get a checkpoint here because if I died, it would all be scuffed. So there's the door right there. And the cutscene is skipped. Easy clap. So that's one of the hardest tricks in the game for sure. I'm very happy that I got it. Now we get this epic cutscene of introducing an enemy. Like there's this big crow man, right? Yeah, unlike Sands of Time, you can just ignore pretty much every enemy in this game. So we're not going to fight him because that would be a waste of time. And we're going to do some tricky parkour now. Some cool stuff. First, I'm going to abuse collision and just the game geometry here to get a nice climb up, hopefully. Landscape view. Jump up, grab this ledge. And now I'm going to try to jump over this ledge because I'm at the edge and get a wall run out of it. Like this. And then very precise jump to actually grab this pillar. And this allows me to skip this entire section. Now there's a cutscene here. I'm going to try to skip it, but I might die. So hopefully I don't. Oh, easy cutscene skip. So I just jumped over a cutscene trigger right there. Nice roll cancel there. Small trick here as well to let go of the wall run early to grab the ledge so I don't have to climb around. So if you're wondering what happened there with the roll cancel, essentially when you jump off of a really like tall, or rather if you fall really far, you can cancel the landing animation by rolling. However, during that roll, you can let go of any direction and enter first person mode, and that completely interrupts the roll. So now we're gonna zip. The biggest glitch to most of you probably well known in the Sans trilogy. Essentially what I'm gonna do, now I have the rewind mechanic, right? Where I can turn back time. What I can do is I can do a lot of small inputs and overload that reload. And then all the actions before that overload are gonna get accelerated like a ton. So now I'm gonna try to utilize that and do a massive skip here. So I'm doing a bunch of inputs, going sideways, going forwards. And all of these movements are gonna get accelerated now. And I start flying through the wall. You can see things loading, deloading, and I just skipped like most of the game, basically. Because one of the last areas is very close to one of the first areas. And this way I was able to get there. Now, this area isn't loaded, as you can see, but luckily there's the fountain there. And drinking at a fountain gives you a checkpoint. So I can just wall run, press primary and secondary attack, Prince lets go of the wall, dies, and now the next area is loaded. And now we're basically gonna try to zip as much as possible and skip as much running and platforming and everything that this game is normally known for. So I do a backflip and a kick and then another backflip. Then you can see these small inputs. I'm blocking very fast. And then there's a little bit of a movement. And again, all of these movements that give me velocity in a specific direction get accelerated. And now what is important here is I need to turn into the Dark Prince, right? I need to turn into the Sand Wraith. Because that one is going to allow me to generate sands, and sands are necessary to be able to turn back time and thus zip by extension. So what I do there is I hit a specific part of the map, and normally this game is semi-open world, right? Meaning that you revisit the same areas at different parts of the story, and there's this concept of story gates, where the game basically has a variable that it updates in order to recognize which part of the story you're in, and then that determines which area to actually load, or which version of the area to load. Here, I'm doing story gate manipulation, so the game basically catches up to where I'm supposed to be in the story when I'm in this area. And you can see that this platform deloaded, meaning that the manipulation worked. I'm gonna save my game, and I'm gonna crash it, right? I'm gonna restart the game, because this allows me to now turn into the Sand Wraith, because you're only supposed to be in this area in the game as the Sand Wraith. So here we are. Perfect. So now you will see in the top left corner, I'm going to be regenerating my sands automatically, and that means I can go through the entire game basically just zipping without worrying about picking up sands. Normally you would have to be like breaking objects and stuff to regenerate them. I don't have to worry about that whatsoever. There's some platforming up here. I can skip it by going through. Wait for this trap. What's also important to say is that whenever... okay, I'm going to explain that actually after this zip. So now I need to lose a little bit of height. And just very conveniently, there's this banner over here that I can use to get downwards momentum. So I'm going to overload the memory again. I'm going to zip a little bit of steps to the side. And then this banner, and boom, I'm underneath. The reason I go underneath is to get this sword, because I need to fight the final boss of this game, and with the starting weapon that I had with the fucking stick, that wouldn't really work too well, okay? She's pretty tanky. So we get the scorpion sword, and I'm gonna do just a vertical zip here, just a jump to get back to the upper platform. And what's important about these, they need to be cancelled at a specific point, right? Because with a jump, you go up and down, and if I cancel the zip, if I let go of rewind as I'm going down, I would just die. So I need to make sure that it's during the upwards momentum part, basically. And for that, for example, you saw me zoom up the camera up to Prince's butt. That's not because I found it hot, even though I do, but the main reason is it allows me to see when the upwards momentum is being done, and I can cancel the zip too late and then die. Okay, can I just get back to where I was? There we go. Okay, let's try that again. Talking about Prince's butt really messed me up there. So this is another like platforming section that allows me to get to the upper parts. Okay, there we go. Much better. So now I actually have to do a bit of backtracking by dying. So this is just to hit a loading trigger for the next area. Okay, perfect. Now there's gonna be some ninja ladies here trying to bother me, but if I just go into this corner, they will despawn like that. We're gonna do another vertical into just a parry, which gets me slightly forwards momentum. And allows me to get through the door here. This would be a Dahaka chase sequence. So Dahaka is something that, you know, it's a creature that we haven't seen the entire playthrough. And this game like revolves around it a lot. It even has an entire second ending based on it. And he's supposed to be chasing you through this entire corridor, but because we zipped into it, it's nowhere to be seen. However, right here is a cutscene, so we are chilling, and now all of a sudden, boom! And here's Dahaka. And he's gone. Cool. We're not gonna see him again for the rest of the run if everything goes well. So, up next, here is a cutscene right here in front of us. I don't want to deal with that cutscene, right? So, I'm gonna do a roll, but I also have to do a jump because the next platform is a little bit higher, so I would be stuck in the ground. So, I roll through the cutscene like that, wait for the vertical, cancel it up. And now I'm going to do a cool trick here where I'm going to do a secondary attack off of a wall. And that allows me to survive a fall I normally wouldn't be able to survive. Because... okay, don't want to deal with these dogs. Because the game only starts calculating fall damage after the secondary attack is finished. So that way, you know, I can fall from a little bit of a bigger height than normally. Now here I'm going to do a backflip into a secret room. That's because that secret room houses a banana sword. Okay, it's not an actual banana, but it kind of looks like it, okay? So there's this rack I'm gonna break, and I'm gonna pick it up. So this is a special secondary, and the way it works is basically each hit that I do, I'm gonna lose a bit of health. Please allow me to side roll, thank you. However, it deals 2.5 times the damage of my primary weapon. So that's gonna be the main weapon I use for the last boss, but it also meant that I needed to upgrade my main weapon, right? Because 2.5 times damage of the stick is not a lot still. Here's an entire corridor, again, of platforming. What I can do is I can do block rolls sideways and forwards to hopefully get through it. It's a pretty neat zip. You're gonna be able to see how things deload as we progress through the corridor. See, like you can see the previous area deloading right there. I'm gonna take this fountain just for safety, just in case something happens. Why isn't Kara on site? It's because I wasn't invited. I'm kidding. Unfortunately, I've been kind of busy with a lot of stuff, so I wasn't able to travel this time. But I hear the guys are having a great time even without me, which is kind of sad. So here, I'm gonna do a very, very cool zip. I'm gonna zip this jump off the wall animation. I have to also make sure that my next steps go through this hallway to hit the next loading trigger. And this allows me to get downwards momentum like that. I needed to cancel that zip at a very specific moment, actually, to be able to survive. But I basically go backwards and downwards as well, which is amazing. Here, I touch the door before I activate the button. That's because that already triggers the traps, and I get a better cycle here. I don't have to wait that way. So here, I'm going to jump to the mechanical tower. And here, it's going to look like I make a mistake. But everybody that knows how I speedrun is I never make any mistakes, especially not this run. So I'm going to jump down here, and then I'm going to jump off, which looks like a death. But however, I'm actually hitting a trigger that allows me to skip the next cutscene. So that is huge, actually. And now I can just scale down this tower. And we're going to do another pretty complicated zip, actually, with a bunch of inputs, because there's a loading trigger that we have to hit and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first line myself up with this beam. And we need to finish it with a jump. Leguru roll. Jump slash. And then roll stab. And let's see. We should be able to see things deload if I did it properly. Yeah, we saw the previous area. No! Are you kidding me? I bounced off. Am I... Okay, let's see if I can return. That was so unlucky, dude. Okay, we can try this again. That's good. But you can see that this area is now deloaded. I don't have to do the exact same zip, but I will do it anyways because I don't know what else to do. So I probably got just not enough distance, which means one of the animations, I canceled it a little bit too early. Okay, game. No bouncy? No bouncy! Yoo-hoo! So we are where we need to be. We need to backtrack a little bit. This allows us to not just load the next area, but also hit story gate number 63. Which we are almost at the end, right? Like, this is close to the end of the game now. So, funnily enough, if you go back and then reload, right? Sorry, rewind. If you hit the story gate 63 and then rewind, there's a good chance that it will break. And then, like, the entire round will just be softlocked. So, that would be no fun. Here, I'm gonna, again, utilize the secondary attack in order to survive a fall. And I break that pod on purpose because the Prince would actually auto-target the pod while I'm doing the zip. So it's a bunch of side rolls again to get through the next corridor. And hopefully it works out. Also, the people on site, there's a subset of the Prince of Persia community that have gathered in the lovely Zurich, Switzerland, at my friend's place. And they're hanging out together. But because I'm forever alone, I'm not there. So, here I'm going to do another pretty cool zip. Some side steps. Hopefully that was enough. The side step, you know, gets me sideways a little bit because the hallway like kind of loops around like that. Okay, perfect. I'm in the whatever, the hourglass room. Now I have to be a little bit careful. I'll be zipping into the throne room, and I have to be careful because there's a cutscene like right in front of me, right? So I'm doing, again, bunch of small inputs to overload the rewind system. And the way I do it is actually like, I have blocking. I might be dead. Let's see. Okay, I'm fine. I have blocking and walk bound to my mouse wheel, and then every small scroll of the mouse wheel actually counts as one input. Right? Like these small inputs that you can see, this is just me spamming block all the time. So yeah, the memory for the rewind, it's not based on like time or whatever. It's based on number of actions. And that way I can overload it. And then everything before the overload gets accelerated. Including the small inputs, right? Because I don't do the exact number of inputs I need for the overload. But when I'm just standing still and blocking, that being accelerated doesn't do anything. So it's all good. We're going to be approaching the final fight. This fight is actually pretty difficult. So I'm going to save. Because if I die, the game's going to crash. And I need to reload the save that way. First, another cool zip to get into the final corridor of the game. If it goes well, you might be able to see things deloading again. Like that. Very cool. So, camera, excuse me. So, this final fight, it has a bunch of these, like, tornado cycles where Kylina, the Empress of Time, that we haven't seen the entire game, she goes up into the air, and you cannot attack her there for 40 seconds. So, what I'm gonna try to do is very tricky, but it should allow me to skip all 3 of the tornado cycles. I'm gonna be using the secondary attack, as I said. If she blocks, I'm gonna try to strafe the follow-up and then keep on attacking. I'm gonna get all the way into the next cutscene here at the first phase. Hopefully. If I interrupt the attack at the start, very good. Block. Strafe. 2 more attacks, we got the second cutscene. Wonderful. After this, I'm gonna try to get her into mashing, right? Like the mashing that you saw in the boat. I'm gonna try to get to that point. However, I'm gonna lose it on purpose to not deal too much damage. She's gonna do a combo. I'm gonna use slow-mo, which is a sound power that we have gained. And during the slow-mo, a cutscene cannot start. So let's see if that works. It's kind of far, but it should be good. Strafe. Here's mashing. Lose it. Wait for the combo to happen. Slow down time. 5 hits. 2 more with the secondary. That is not good. Okay, well, that's really unlucky. So I entered the... So now the game's gonna crash. Which is fine. Okay, the game didn't crash. The game's gonna crash now. I need to load a save file. That's really unfortunate. So what happened there is I think I ended the slow-mo just a little bit too soon. Kylina, dude. Every time. So you can see we are a normal prince now. That's why the game crashed, right? You remember I crashed the game on purpose when I was turning into Sandwraith? Now in this part of the game, you're not supposed to be the Sandwraith. You're supposed to be the normal prince. So that's why the game crashes. Okay, let's do this again. That was going really well until the last part there. Yeah, me ending the slow-mo a little bit too soon meant that she got a counter hit in and she killed me because I had no health. I had, you know, I'm Sandray, so I continually lose health. I use the banana sword, so I use health on every hit, and then I lost mashing as well. So let's try this again. It doesn't matter that we're not the Sandray. Optimally, you need literally just... Okay, that's not good. She started with the teleports. I should still have enough health. Let's see. It should be fine. We're gonna try again. Get into mashing, lose mashing, do the slow-mo. And then at the end, basically there's one more cutscene that needs to trigger. And so I need to let go of the slow-mo, but I want to let go of it as I'm attacking her so she doesn't go in the air right after the cutscene. But because I ended the slow-mo too early, I got counter hit before the cutscene started. Okay, let's see. Here's mashing, lose the mashing. Combo. Slow down. One more. Dude, she did it again. Is she gonna go into tornado now? She could. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We can try to salvage this. I don't have any health, dude. If I get hit by any of these NATOs, I'm dead. It's always with this game, dude. Always this final fight somehow. I practiced this before the marathon. Like 30 minutes before the marathon. Okay, let's see. Keep on rolling. I believe in the process, dude. Ah! Get the sand! So if I die, I can rewind time. Okay, we should be good. She's gonna go down. Ah! There's one more! Okay, she's gonna go down. I'm gonna slow down time immediately and try to finish her up. Let's see. It should work. Get ready on time if it does. If it doesn't, then rip. Time! Yes! Kylina is dead! You bitch! That's what you get. There we go. So this is the bad ending of the game, not the true ending. But it's the faster ending, right? The other one, you need to like collect all the health upgrades and get the water sword, and that's boring, you know? And also longer. And that means it's harder to derust for someone like me, so... yeah, I don't know what the final time is. I think the estimate was 25. I believe he probably went underneath. But it's pretty unfortunate that Kylina messed me up twice. But you got to see the tornado cycle that I normally skip, right? So that's how it is. Yeah, one more R1 on Kylina. Yo, thank you so much for letting me run the only Prince of Persia game that I can still run. I really appreciate it. It's one of those things that I have in my back pocket for marathons over the years. I haven't run this game actively in almost 7 years now. So, you know, I did okay, all things considered. All things considered that I woke up today, I got on my PC and the game wouldn't even launch. We're doing all right, you know. Thank you so much for having me, guys. I hope you have a great rest of the last day of the marathon. To everybody on site, I really miss you guys, and I hope you enjoy yourselves. And everybody in chat, please keep on watching the marathon. It's a lot of fun. We got some cool stuff coming up with a segmented run and everything, so that's going to be actually perfect gameplay, unlike mine. And yeah, thank you so much. Bye bye.